ByteByteGo showed one unified layer for batch, streaming, and machine learning. What they skipped. The real bill isn't storage, it's engineer hours. Someone owns compaction jobs. Someone arbitrates schema fights between finance and ML. Under 50 engineers, under 10 terabytes of data, that overhead rarely pays back. So before the kickoff, 3 conditions decide if your AI workload actually earns this architecture, or if a warehouse+feature store quietly wins. Think about what the old setup cost in human time. Every schema change touched 2 ingestion paths, 2 quality checks, 2 access models. Data engineers spent half their week just keeping the warehouse and lake in sync instead of shipping new products. The Lakehouse collapses that work into one shared layer. Raw order events and polished analytics tables live side by side as Parquet files on cheap object storage. Iceberg adds the database rules on top: transactions, schema enforcement, time travel. Your ML team reads the same row a finance analyst just queried, seconds after it lands. Notice what the original video glossed over. ByteByteGo never asked whether your AI workload actually justifies a lakehouse. Most teams under 50 engineers, holding under 10 terabytes, do not need this architecture. The real cost is not storage. It is engineer hours spent on compaction jobs, schema arbitration, and governance drift. A warehouse plus a feature store handles occasional model training on curated samples for a fraction of the operational weight. Before you greenlight migration, 3 questions decide everything: how often you retrain, how much fresh data you process, and whether your data scientists already think like engineers. Frequent retraining is the whole reason lakehouses exist for machine learning. When your fraud model retrains every night on yesterday's actual transactions, it catches scam patterns that didn't exist a week ago. A warehouse can technically feed that pipeline, but you end up exporting gigabytes of features every single day, paying egress twice, and waiting on batch jobs that block the next training run. Lakehouses skip that copy. Your training job reads the same iceberg or delta table the analytics team already curated, with ACID guarantees so a half-written partition doesn't poison the model. Streaming features like last hour click velocity or live inventory counts land in the same table within minutes, not tomorrow morning. That freshness is where accuracy actually comes from. But flip it around. If your recommendation model gets retrained once a quarter on a clean sample your data scientists hand-pick, none of that machinery pays rent. You're maintaining compaction jobs, schema coordination, and a catalog layer to solve a problem you don't have. The warehouse plus a feature store handles curated, occasional training for a fraction of the engineering headcount. Ask your ML lead one question: when was the last retrain, and what data did it see? The crossover usually hits somewhere past 10 terabytes of training data, and the math gets brutal fast. Warehouses charge premium rates because they bundle compute, storage, and the engine that makes queries fast. Object storage like S3 strips that down to raw bytes, roughly $23 per terabyte per month, versus warehouse storage that can run 10 to 40 times higher once you factor in compute coupling. For a 50 terabyte training set you retrain weekly, that gap turns into a 6-figure annual line item. But here is the trap. Measure your actual production volume, not the volume your ML lead hopes to reach next year. Plenty of teams provision Lakehouse infrastructure for 100 terabytes and end up parking 8. They pay the platform engineering tax, compaction jobs, schema coordination, catalog maintenance, without ever earning the storage savings. The honest test is what your pipelines move this quarter. If a managed warehouse plus a feature store still fits under budget, you have not hit the crossover yet. Wait until the bill forces the conversation, not a slide deck. Shared tables demand shared discipline. The moment finance, marketing, and machine learning all read from the same iceberg table, a data scientist renaming a column at midnight breaks 3 dashboards by morning. That's why condition 3 matters more than the other 2 combined. If notebooks still get emailed to engineers for rewrite, there's no pull request history, no failing test to block a bad schema change, no second pair of eyes on a drift in feature logic. A lakehouse doesn't forgive that. The whole point of one storage layer is shared governance, and governance only works when every change is versioned, reviewed, and reversible. The honest signal is boring and specific. Models live in Git, Tests fail to build when a feature definition shifts, and schema changes go through a pull request with a human reviewer. If that sounds like a stretch for the current team, a warehouse plus a feature store buys 6 to 12 months of runway. Use that time to build the engineering muscle first. Pour Lakehouse governance on top of a notebook handoff culture, and the platform becomes the blame target for every broken dashboard. Here's the honest math behind the checklist. Weekly retraining on live production data is what actually justifies the platform engineering tax. Compaction jobs, schema coordination, governance drift. Skip any one condition, and a managed warehouse plus a feature store handles 90% of AI workloads for less money and less headcount. The feature store does the heavy lifting a lakehouse was supposed to do. It serves consistent features to training and to production, so your models see the same numbers in both places. That's the gap most teams actually need to close. Now this verdict flips at Fortune 100 scale. Once training data pushes past what a warehouse can economically hold, the warehouse breaks first, and the lakehouse becomes the cheaper option by default. For everyone else, teams under 50 engineers, under 10 terabytes, screenshot this card. Send it to your head of machine learning before the kickoff meeting. The default answer is warehouse plus feature store, not lakehouse. Walk into that kickoff with the 3 conditions written down, and the conversation shifts. Instead of debating vendor demos, the team debates your retraining cadence, your data volume, and whether the data scientists ship like engineers. That's a decision meeting, not a sales pitch. The full written guide in the description breaks down the warehouse plus feature store alternative, including the 10 terabyte threshold and the 20 to 30% cost premium most teams overlook. If this saved you a quarter of wasted platform engineering, hit subscribe. Every Tuesday, one more architecture decision, stripped of vendor spin. Thanks for sticking with us to the end.